Buffalo Bills rookie tight end Dalton Kincaid has yet to live up to his draft capital. After the Buffalo Bills traded their 27th overall selection and their 4th round pick, 130th overall in a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and making Kincaid the first tight end selected in that year's NFL draft. Sam Laporta, who was drafted after Dalton Kincaid, is doing much better than Dalton Kincaid at this point in the season. So we need to explore why that is. How did Brandon Beane potentially miss on Sam Laporta? Should Sam Laporta have been the first pick? Rob Gronkowski recently came out in a comment saying he likes Sam Laporta and he believes that he should have been first.
Sam Laporta, he's been a revelation.
He's a good player. He was a second rounder, 34th pick overall. I think he should have probably been the first tight end taken in the draft. Just the way that he runs his routes. You know, he's just very instinctive. That's what you got to be. That's what makes a good football player.
Here are the fantasy rankings for tight ends so far in 2023, and this is about overall impact. Because fantasy takes into account touchdowns, it takes into yards. The total amount of fantasy points is a good indication of how well this tight end is doing. To summarize and consolidate things, you can see Sam Laporta, the best tight end in the NFL right now as a rookie, ahead of Travis Kelce, TJ Hawkinson, doing some amazing things. And he's not the only rookie ahead of Dalton Kincaid. Our rookie, Luke Musgrave of the Packers, is actually doing better than Dalton Kincaid. Now, clearly we see the difference, 33.9 points for Luke Musgrave, 28.8 points for Dalton Kincaid. Sam Laporta at 71.9 points, almost tripling the amount of points for Dalton Kincaid. We need to explore what exactly is going on with Dalton Kincaid and also this offense. How are we utilizing Dalton Kincaid? How are their stats in college? Like, how did Brandon Beane miss on Sam Laporta? Sam Laporta in college at Iowa, we could see his size too, 6'4", 249, but his last year at Iowa, he only had 657 yards and only 1 receiving touchdown. Luke Musgrave, the biggest out of the bunch here at 6'6", 252 pounds. You could see his last year at Oregon State, he was hurt. He only started 2 games. He had 169 yards and 1 touchdown. Year before that, when he was healthier, 22 receptions, 304 yards, and 1 touchdown. Only 2 receiving touchdowns throughout his college career. Now our guy, Dalton Kincaid, the same height as Sam Laporta at 6'4", 242 pounds. We could see his final year in 2022, the most receiving yards at 890, the most receiving touchdowns at 8. Even the year in 2021, 510 receiving yards and another 8 receiving touchdowns. To me, the stats never lie, and the stats prove that Dalton Kincaid is still the better tight end. So we have to ask ourselves, why is Dalton Kincaid not doing the best? Why isn't he doing better than Sam Laporta? Why isn't Dalton Kincaid the number 1 tight end in the NFL right now? This article states that Kincaid ranks 3rd on the team in total targets at 19, 3rd in total receptions with 17, 4th in yards at 118, and 7th in yards per target at 6.2. Bills Mafia was expecting just a little bit more than just a check down specialist from such a high investment. Ken Dorsey was specifically asked about Dalton Kincaid's lackluster start here in 2023, and Ken Dorsey reveals that I think Dalton has really grown into a player that we could definitely move around, do some different things. Very good route runner, good feel for the game. That is something that Kincaid has shown through this point of the season, is that he does have a good feel. You know, there hasn't been a lot of miscommunications between him and Allen, but he does a great job finding the soft zones, mastering the connection with Josh Allen. Kincaid's development depends on the rapport he could build with Allen. Dorsey went on to say whether it's a specific route or someone else doing a specific route and him learning from that library will just continue to grow for Kincaid. So we now know that Kincaid is still learning the game. He's still building that rapport and trust with Josh Allen. Maybe we are starting him off a little bit slow. The other thing to keep in mind here is the Bills are running a lot of 12 personnel with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid out there. Sam Laporta, Luke Musgrave, not so much in that 12 personnel. They are throwing the ball around really solely to their only starting tight end, Sam Laporta and Luke Musgrave. The other problem Ken Dorsey even discussed was that the average depth of target for Dalton Kincaid is only 4.2 yards downfield, which ranks 40th amongst 45 tight ends with at least 7 targets. Dalton Kincaid's lackluster start could simply be because of the total usage of the Buffalo Bills. You know that we're starting to try to build that rapport with Josh Allen, and also the average depth of route is awfully short. And you could hear here that Ken Dorsey says there's room to grow that route tree and get him more vertical. Dorsey said we tried a couple times. It hasn't worked out based on the defenses or some factors, but it's definitely something that we can contribute to grow and improve on. So 1, Dalton Kincaid still building that rapport and trust with Josh Allen. 2, the Buffalo Bills average depth for Dalton Kincaid and just the usage of Dalton Kincaid hasn't allowed for a lot of explosive plays. His average depth only 4 yards, which ranks 40th amongst 45 tight ends with 7 targets or more. And finally, Ken Dorsey admitting that the defenses that we've gone against has really taken a sample from last year, those 2 high safety shells playing a lot of zone coverage, forcing a lot of passes underneath. And this is about establishing 11 or 12 personnel. Everyone joking before the season we were going to call it 11 and a half personnel, but if Dalton Kincaid truly is not a deep threat or a huge impact on games, teams are going to start figuring that out and taking it away. It's about keeping teams honest offensively. Is Dalton Kincaid going to run a streak and split those 2 high safeties? Is he going to stay shallow? You know, we have to keep defenses honest. Truly believe Ken Dorsey has a plan in place for this offense and Dalton Kincaid, kind of starting him to get a little bit acclimated to the NFL, to build that rapport with Josh Allen, to continue to grow that route tree on the field, understanding how teams are playing the Buffalo Bills, forces throws underneath. I would like to see a little bit more chances for Dalton Kincaid to get a little bit more chunk plays, even if it's once or twice a game. And Josh Allen is going through his progressions on every single play. Yes, Dalton Kincaid might be the first option on a play or the third option on the play, but if he's open, Josh Allen's going to find him and get him the ball. I know it's been somewhat of a lackluster start, especially seeing Sam Laporta all the way number 1 in the NFL, tight end as a rookie, even having Luke Musgrave ahead of Dalton Kincaid. And we look at their college stats, Kincaid completely shattering the college stats there. I know Bills Mafia was expecting a lot more, having so much value in that draft pick, trading up for Dalton Kincaid. But I think as the season progresses here, it's still awfully early. As Josh Allen continues to trust Josh Allen, we don't want to give up any mistakes. We don't want to turn that ball over, right? We are continuing to build with Dalton Kincaid throughout this entire season, and I really believe he could eventually catch up. He's definitely going to surpass Luke Musgrave, just a matter of balling out the rest of the year and getting ahead of Sam Laporta. Let me know what you guys think. Hit like, subscribe on the channel. Drop a comment down below. Do you think Dalton Kincaid is going to live up to all the hype that we had before the season started? I'd like to hear from you, but hit like, subscribe, go Bills.